What's up, Foundation? What's up, YouTube? Man, it's me, your big partner, Cartoon 5-3. Man, I'm back again. Back again. Story time, yeah. Oh, man. So you could tell from the title, that this is, I don't it could be a story, a history lesson, or whatever you want to call it, about the relationship between the Phi Trey Avalons and the Phi Deuce Broadways. History lesson time. Them the homies, without a shadow of a doubt. You know what I'm saying? We rock with the Phi Deuce Broadways. You know what I'm saying? I'm quite sure. If you're not from Los Angeles, you don't know the term A's and wayz. That term came about behind the Avalon, which are the A's, and the Broadways, which are the wayz. You know what I'm saying? And so once we decided that we were going to be super cool down with each other, you know what I'm saying? Rock this thing out. That's when, who invented the term, I don't know. But that's when the term A's and wayz popped up. And it been that. Me personally, I became aware of the term A's and wayz when I got out the pen, when I paroled Pelican Bay in 1996. When I got out, I'll never forget the first day I came up to the park. Man, the park was full. I'm talking about, when I said it was full, it was super full with people everywhere. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like trying to figure out, like, dang, Phi Treys ain't got this deep in the last few years. But it wasn't that. And I asked the homie, I'm like, cuz, man, all these the homies right here? And one of the homies, I can't remember who it was, told me, like, no, cuz it's us and the Broadway. Some of them dudes Broadways. I'm like, dude, to hell. I'm like, it made me look. I came from a different era. I came from an era where, when in my era, we never would have been in the park with each other like that. You know what I'm saying? And, of course, back in the day, we would, saying, be in the park together and all this and that. But, it might 3 or 4, 5, 6 of us, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. But as far as how it was when I got out in 96, never to that magnitude would we have ever hang out. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, we never would have been hanging out with each other to that magnitude. You know what I'm saying? Where it's 100, 150 of both sides in the park kicking it. Hee hee ha ha and kiki the kaka. You know what I'm saying? It was new to me. It was something that I'd never experienced. It's something that in a million years I didn't think that I would ever experience. You know what I'm saying? I had been gone. I'd been out of touch. And things happened. You know what I'm saying? And what it was, because of us being both from the 50s and us both being in so close proximity to each other, and quite as kept, at that time, both sets, we all had the same enemies. The same people that the Broadway was beefing with is the same people that the Avalons was beefing with. So, of course, natural progression, hey, shoot, man, let's hook up. We might as well. Shoot, it's a 50s thing. You feel me? It's a 50s thing. A's and wayz were born. Bang. So, but now, like I say, when I got out, it kind of threw me, because it was something that I wasn't used to. In fact, just, what I'm saying, we can be grown. In fact, coming up in my day and age, when I was young, we always fought. We fought like cats and dogs, tooth and nail, all the time. If we wasn't fighting about South Park, we was fighting about this dude think he tough, or that dude think he tough, or this dude looking this kind of way, or that dude looking this kind of way. And it was always something petty and small. Like I say, we would always be in South, because they used to kick it in South Park over on the San Pedro side. But of course, they had a couple of homies that stayed in South Park on the park front walk. So they would kick it over there. You know what I'm saying? Where that's where the term, a lot of people coming up always thought that we shared South Park. They thought we split South Park up. We had the Avalon side and they had the San Pedro side. That's what a lot of people around LA thought, because I used to run into that a lot when I was in TS, when I was in YA. But no, 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 no. South Park has always been a Five Trey Avalon Park, without a shadow of a doubt. Never splitting it, sharing it, none of that. It's always been our park. It's on 51st and Avalon. It's the East Side Park, you know. But they did hang in the park though. They did hang in the park. And like I say, back then we were young. Um, would get into it about any little thing. I'm talking about, and just any little thing. And it never really, it never went to gunplay. It never went to gunplay. We've never, ever, ever done no ooh wee harm to each other. You know what I'm saying? It was just that rock'em sock'em robot when we was a kids. That wasn't them 50 things. You know what I'm saying? You had to come from the shoulders. We was coming from the shoulders. Of course, we East Siders, and they was coming from the shoulders too. Boop 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 boop. Fighting about whatever, and turn around the next day. We all like being South Park, kicking and drinking. You know what I'm saying? And same thing again. Find something to fight about, man. Rah, 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 rah. Get into it about something about nothing. You know how it go when you young. When I'm talking about young, I'm talking about, 14, 15, 13, 14, 15, 16. Back then, kids just fighting about whatever. But back then, boy, look at, hey, I never forget, them was the good old days, though, y'all. Man, boy, we used to be G'd up. We used to be, and we would say back in the day, man, we was ripped up. We was ripped up. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, and that's one thing that I ain't gonna even front. I'm gonna call a ball, strike a strike. That's one thing I'm gonna say. Man, back then, oh my goodness. 78, 79, 80, back during them times like that, man, them Broadways could dress. Man, I'm talking about that. I don't know what no other sets was doing around LA. I don't know what the other sets was doing, but I know right there in my world, because the 50s right there was my world, them Five Broadways, hey man, them boys used to be G'd up. I'm talking about, I ain't gonna even lie. I had certain type dress codes that I had adopted from them. You know what I'm saying? When they would come over, kicking with us, we would see them. And we all kicking and talking. I'd be looking though. I'd be like, okay, so that's how you wear that. Okay, you put that with that. Oh, all right, yeah, I see how that. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? When them type get down. Cause they used to be G'd up. Man, they used to be G'd up. Man, I can give you a whole myriad of names from Five Broadway from back in the day. Man, them boys was G'd up, homie. I'm talking about with the ace deuces, the stingy brim, the canes, you know what I'm saying, the Pendleton overalls, honchos, lumberjacks, you know what I'm saying, croquet sacks, biscuits, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Them boys used to be G'd up. I ain't gonna even lie, boy. Yeah. But yeah, we fought. We used to fight a lot, man. A lot of people don't know that, but we fought a lot, and it wasn't no I hate you or you hate me type get out. Just fighting to be fighting. What you say, cuz? Hey, you know what I'm saying? One homie might have a problem, and they would always come in the park. And boom, and we had to get out. They're like, I want to get out with him. A homie on our side, I want to get out with him. Cool. You know what I'm saying? I never forget one day. I was coming from my auntie house, and I was coming down Vernon. And they got an elementary school. They got an elementary school right there right by the freeway on Vernon. Right before you get to Figueroa, it's an elementary school right there. The underpass of the freeway kind of goes up under there and all that. It's right there before you get on the freeway. I'm walking. My auntie stayed over there, and I'm walking, and I bumped into the homie. You know what I'm saying? We could not get along for spit back in the day, but you know what I'm saying. He was a homie though. Dude named Wimprock from Five Broadway. Me and Wimprock couldn't stand each other. Nope. We couldn't stand each other. were spit. And we end up, I'm walking and he's walking. Where he coming from, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Of course, back then at this time, that was like the edge of Broadway, because the the Five Deuce Broadways took up a lot of area back then. This was pre this was pre Five Deuce Hoover time. You know what I'm saying? In fact, they weren't even out yet. So it was kind of like no man's land, and then none but the Five Deuce Broadways. So anyway, we had a fight right there on the bridge. When I seen him, he seen me. So it was like, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? And a couple of words was passed. And man, we right there, man, look, man, we right there on the side of the gate of the elementary school, right there on Fig. We between, I mean on Vernon, between Flower and Figueroa, somewhere right there. And man, we going for what we know. Man, we going for what we know. We fighting like a big dog. Fight ended. I took off walking. He took off walking. One of them things, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't wait to get back to the turf and tell homie, man, I had a fight, man, me and that fool, man, woo, 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 woo. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. That's how it goes. But you know, once we had got over that mountain, it was all smooth sailing after that. But now, like I say, in the late 70s, early 80s, it was kind of rough. You know, that's when, you know, LA was going through an upheaval of picking who you gonna ally yourself with, who you was gonna be cool with, picking up allies, you know. One of the things that kind of gave us a small rift back then at that time was the Five Deuce Broadways in the 60s started kicking it real tough. They used to kick it real, I'm talking about they kicked it real tough. And that kind of preceded us aligning ourselves and kicking it with the A-Tray Gangsters. That's when we start kicking it with the A-Tray Gangsters. The Five Deuces in the 60s, they hung so tough. They used to have a little saying. They would say, Five Deuce, whatever I do, 6-0 wherever I go. Boom. That was their thing. That was they call. We had on our side, we had a saying, 5 tray every day, 8 tray anyway. You know what I'm saying? Crazy D and them was coming up to the park, China and all of them. And that's when we started, you know, getting tight with them. So we had our little saying. It was, if we were ever going to go to war, or we was ever going to have a misunderstanding during that time, that's when it would have been. That's when it would have been. You would have thought it would have been when they start, you know what I'm saying, going back and forth with the 4 trays real heavy, real hot and heavy. But that never really sparked nothing with us. During that situation, we tried to stay out of it and not being caught up in the middle of it. But now the situation with them in the 60s and us and the A-Tray Gangsters, if it was going to ever just be a major rift, that's when it would have happened. But it never did, and I'm glad. It didn't happen. I'm gonna tell you about another situation. One time, one of the biggest dudes. Now, I seen him this year during Five Deuce Broadway Day. I seen him this year. You know what I'm saying? He still look good for his age. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's a few years older than me. And back then, back at this time, I'll never forget, this was 1979, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have been early 1980, if I'm not mistaken. But my homeboy Tiki, his sister gave a party in the set. Gave a party right on 51st and Avalon. Between Avalon and McKinley, right there in the alley, it used to be a house in back of the dairy. And she threw a party. Man, I'm talking about homies was there from far and wide. You know what I'm saying? We juking up in there. Man, a dude by the name of Big One Punch from Broadway came to the party. He was on, I never forget this, man. He was on a 10-speed. He was on a 10-speed and he came to the party. Big ass, I don't know what. This dude was big, man. He was big. Man, I'm talking about this dude was big. He was bigger than 3, 4 people put together. Big dude, hard headed too, man. Big dude. Like I say, when I seen him at the Five News Broadway Day this year, I'm like, dang, he kind of shrunk. You know what I'm saying? Either he shrunk or I got bigger. Of course, I got bigger. But yeah, but when we were kids, man, this dude was huge. He came to the party. I never forget. He came to the party and just got super duper rambunctious, to the point that well, not me, but the homies had to tell him, "Cuz, you gotta go, man, you gotta leave." I can't remember what the disturbance was, but it was a disturbance to where he was causing, and the homies was like, "Because you gotta leave, you gotta go, you gotta leave," and he decided that he didn't want to leave. God dang. He decided he didn't want to leave, y'all. I'm looking. So now, like I say, it was just him by himself and about 50 of us, But he wasn't studying none of that. He didn't care nothing about that. He made up his mind. I ain't going nowhere, cuz. Now I ain't gotta go. I ain't leaving. So now homies looking at each other because they like, dang, okay, we gotta do him. You know what I'm saying? And not gotta do him, but gonna do him. You know what I'm saying? Cause you in the turf and you acting crazy. Like you running something over here. If we say you gotta go. Or else. You know what I'm saying? But at that time, he was with the or else. He wasn't studying. He was with the or else, But it never went there. Cooler heads prevail. And I remember before he was leaving, he got on his 10 speed. He was like, cuz, all right, cuz, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna go. It ain't no thing. So, boom. I mean, I never forget that day. And he ended up leaving. He ended up going. This dude was big though. Man, ooh wee. This dude was this. Shout out to Big One Punch, man, from Five News Broadway. Man, that dude was big back in the day, boy. Ooh wee. And had a reputation. He was the first person ever heard with that name. But yeah, man, for years coming up, we had always been right here. And the Five News Broadways had always been right there. They was right there. With them being so close, in such a close proximity to the East Side, they had an East Side mentality. You know what I'm saying? They had an East Side mentality. To me, Broadway always should have been the East Side. You know what I'm saying? The freeway, it should have been what separated us. And at one time, that's what did separate the East from the West. But dudes took it upon themselves to make their own borderlines, So boom, Broadway became part of the West Side. But I always felt Broadway should have been on the East Side, But anyway, they've always been there, man, like we've always been there. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we are an older set, but they've been there a long, long time too, man, And we've just, man, look, all I can say is we have withstood the test of time, man. We have withstood the test of time. We still there, they still there. You know what I'm saying? We strong, they strong. And it's just a testament to, the fortitude of both sets. You know what I'm saying? The 50s ain't no joke. Like I tell y'all before, man, the 50s are cut above. The 50s are something different. The 50s are the only 10 block radius. And when I say 10 block radius, I'm talking about all the 20s, all the 30s, all the 40s, all the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, boom, boom, boom. The 50s is that only 10 block radius where there is a gang on every street. From 50th all the way to 59th, there is a gang on every street. You can name any street in the 50s and it's gonna be a gang, if not 2 or 3, Crip or Blood. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and that's how that go, man. The 50s strong, man. We got a lot of pride in them 50s, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you will hear dudes talking in videos, and instead of putting it on this and that, you hear us all the time. East side or west side, man, that's on 50s, homie. Man, that's on the 50s. The nifty 50s, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how we feel about the 50s, man. It's something different. It's something about them 50s, man, that just give you that juice. It give you the turnip power. It make you just want to hook them jumper cables to your arms and go crazy. You know what I'm saying? The nifty 50s, homie. Always remember that. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to give that little piece of tidbit, man, about the relationship and somewhat of the history of the Five Travelons and the Five Deuce Broadways, man. We've always been right there with each other, seem like. Always been right there, man. So, like I say, quite naturally, the progression of A's and wayz was gonna come about. And like I say, them still the homies to today. So anyway, man, it's me, your big partner, Cartoon 53, man. Tell the ones you love them, and keep your head on the swivel, man. And always remember, I represent the gangsters, homie. The Avalon gangsters. I'm out, man. Peace.
Gangsta boogie, gangsta boogie, gangsta boogie, gangsta boogie. Ain't nobody gangsta boogie. 4, 2, 1, man. 4, 2, 1, man.